Lemus. I mean, first pick Varus into that comp. Like, Lemus, I think, has played pretty well in the Varus, but hey, I wouldn't want to be Varus in that game.
We are heading into the Rift. Once again, day 2 of the playoffs. We've got Team Bliss trying to take on Impunity. Chiefs did fall yesterday against the PCS squads. We'll see if Team Bliss can turn around OC's fortune as we head into the match. And it's sunny on the Rift. I thought it was starry yesterday.
It was only for game 1.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't know. Weather must have changed, but hopefully OC's fortunes can change here. Will we see a level 1? I mean, we've got the Heimerdinger, so we obviously want to protect those. It is the exhaust picked up by the Heimer, and actually fleet footwork on the Victor. So it's something that we've seen a couple times, but it's kind of surprising to me that it got picked up this game. I feel like if you do want kind of the scaling, something like Phase Rush might be better. I mean, I guess the nice thing about it is it gives access to Tenacity, which is really good up against this comp.
Yeah.
Still feel like it's a little interesting, though. I mean, I guess we'll just see how it kind of works out. Also, is the Phase Rush on the Gragas in the jungle. We've seen a lot of different things in the PCS. We've seen, I believe, Electrocute, Dark Harvest, and even Predator as the top laners, paying a bit of respect to one another.
Driver, he's looking for those Qs. Lived is up. It looks like OC is going to be winning this game. That's actually not a bad advantage to start the lane with. Why not? Going to be starting on the blue side. Solo start. Same with Alex.
Yeah, so it looks like both junglers definitely clearing towards that bot side. Makes a lot of sense. I think any lane with Varus and Heimerdinger in it is just by nature very volatile, right? There's those double ranged, always have to push, which leaves themselves vulnerable to getting ganked. How much can they get done in this lane? I mean, I think we have seen Benvi and Lemus play this combo many times. I feel like to mixed success, sometimes they've had, honestly really great games. I remember one where they 2v3 to bot gank, which was, exceptional for them. Other games, though, have found themselves falling far behind on champs that can't really afford to do so.
Yeah, they have opted for this, 2v2 bot lane quite a lot, so I'd have to hope that, they have enough practice on it to be able to recognize good situations from the bad and really try and leverage the experience in these matchups. Kaiser Rakan is something that we don't see, or haven't seen as often recently, but definitely as we sort of reach those later stages in the game, can be pretty threatening.
Lots of trades coming out on this top side. I mean, normally we don't see the tanks ever actually dying, but trading back and forth, not too surprising. And both junglers will now swap to their bot side. I'd be kind of surprised to see anything more than a peek at bot lane actually happen. Mid lane, though, lots of priority here for Daystar, at least for now. Perhaps Mission can trade some of his health to get it back. Daystar will kind of be that late game carry here for Bliss. Especially with the Ghost picked up, right? It's very good for team fighting. If you can ever not take TP on mid, it feels good, but the problem is normally that without TP, it's very hard to actually play out the laning phase. But against Galio, when you got that free matchup, you can afford to go something greedier.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot of eyes on him as the game progresses. Both junglers, though, finishing off their last camps. Why not is a little bit ahead. Gonna see what he can do. Probably going to look towards this bot lane scuttle.
Yeah, probably can just pick it up. Has a lot of bot and mid priority right now, so it should be this scuttle going over without too much fanfare around it. This Mission, TP's back to mid. Actually picks up the Null Magic Mantle already. Is up against that double AP mid jungle, so getting some magic resist very early in the game makes a lot of sense.
And this top lane is really aggressive. Both top laners really, trying to find the edge in these trades. Overall, though, still pretty even. Just kind of trading grass procs.
Well, Driver, maybe getting the better of him just a little bit. But both tanks with the Doran Shield feels like they shouldn't really be going down.
Yeah, Alex is in the area, but going to look to recall. Not much that can be done against Sion.
So far, I mean, bot lane has at least gotten some sort of lead, right? The priority has converted into that bot scuttle, and there is a very slight CS lead. Certainly nothing to write home about. You're not really expecting it to do so, at least just yet, though, right? I feel like Heimerdinger, despite being a champ that boys are lame, definitely doesn't scale bad, right? Like, I think it does a lot of damage later on, but perhaps lacks in stuff like reliable engage that Rakan might bring. Daystar, he hasn't reset, obviously, and also does not have the TP, so he's in a bit of a tough situation. Probably should have tried to find a reset while Mission was basing. Instead, chooses to stay, which is going to allow him to pick up the chapter most likely, but... Oh, okay, so actually, we'll just... Yeah, okay, so Mission could probably stay, shove an extra wave. Daystar probably will commit to this base, right? Commits to the base, is going to lose some creeps under tower, and I think that's a slight win there for Mission. It's actually the Sork shoes picked up by Daystar first item, which is kind of interesting, and yeah, definitely a little strange. I feel like up against Galio, having the mana just to match the wave clear is normally better. And Silkshoes into the null magic also doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but maybe just values the movement speed really highly. Wants to be able to match these roams, dodge out some of those skill shots. Why not? He's in the bot side, sweeping out some of that vision. I believe it missed the ward, did the Scryer's Bloom. He's going to path back down towards his Krugs. And I think Alex might actually get spotted on a ward in his jungle momentarily, most likely placed by the Bliss bot lane, who have a lot of priority, and look to kind of use that to get some deeper wards for their team. It is the Merc Treads now for Mission, so it's going to be very hard to push him out of lane. He's honestly just not going to be taking very much damage at all.
Yeah, I can only imagine Mission is going to get more and more time as this sort of lane progresses to, you know, pressure those side lanes as much as possible, and it's definitely going to be helping out Atlan and Nature, who, you know, as expected, constantly getting pushed in by Lemus and Benvi. And I think he's been doing a good job so far of, you know, making sure to secure that prio so that, you know, they just can't play quite as aggressively as they want to. And making sure to move out of vision as well, I feel like is the most important thing as a Galio, right? Making sure that, you know, they don't really know where you are. You could be anywhere.
For sure, just pressuring that map constantly, which is the price you pay for having a Victor early game, right? Obviously does scale extremely well, certainly outscales the Galio in this game, but you do have to deal with the fact of kind of not having mid priority and not having pressure from mid, which is something that Bliss have, you know, maybe relied on in the past. So far, though, that pressure is being provided by Lemus and Benvi, so at least for now, isn't going to be much of an issue.
Yeah, I'm curious. We haven't touched on this yet, but Lemus has actually opted for lethal tempo, so he's going to be going the, you know, on-hit attack speed build on the Varus, which we've definitely seen mixed success for in team comps like this. Liv actually getting dropped pretty low here. Driver, he's gone all out, but I don't know if he's going to quite have enough damage. He's going to back off for now. He's got a wave stacked, and Alex is in the area.
Definitely can not quite take him out. The on-hit Varus thing, it's a little interesting because I think that you're almost forced into going it because you're up against so many tanks here.
Yeah.
At the same time, I feel like when you're up against like very hard engaged like this, how many autos are you actually going to get off in a team fight? I'm honestly not sure. Have to ask a Varus main what he thinks, but we'll have to pay attention to how much DPS he can put out in the team fights because it feels like while he might, in theory, have a lot of DPS he can put out, I'm not sure if he'll actually get the opportunity to.
Yeah, it does feel like we've seen this quite a lot in PCS games where, you know, Varus will opt for, you know, more on-hit build out of necessity, right? But it's just so difficult to find, you know, the space to be able to auto-attack. And maybe that's dependent on the team, who knows? Maybe Team Bliss, they have the team fight execution to be able to, you know, allow Lemus to the freedom to DPS. But definitely a very, you know, tough bridge to walk across.
Yeah. They certainly do have DPS from other roles, though, right? We've got the Heimerdinger, the Varus, even like Gragas and Sion deal a fair amount of damage. Now, it is the Herald started up by Alex. I think Why Not was spotted on that pink bot side, so they know he's not in the area. Currently have that top priority as well as Mission on the map first, so this most likely will just be the Herald going the way of Impunity, which is definitely a nice pickup. I think taking that away from the Varus Heimerdinger lane is pretty important. Mission, there's pings onto him in mid. With the Merc Treads, though, can't feel like he's in a gankable position. He's actually just able to contest the wave 1v2. What a Giga Chad. Okay, Why Not? They're going to try and maybe trade the Dragon. They do have bot priority for it, but I feel like it might not be started in time. The Impunity, they have great skirmishing around this. Atlan is fairly chunked out and doesn't have Cleanse. I'd be really interested to see if Impunity decide to contest this. I feel like you just give it up. First Dragon, not that important. And I think Atlan too low. Yeah, most likely will just be picked up here by Bliss. So nice from the Bliss.
Well, they might look here. Nature hits 6, gets in with the Grand Entrance. Isn't going to find too much here, but they're chasing down Lemus. He's dropped very low. Got the Ignite taking on him. First blood picked up for Atlan. Benvi might be next, but is going to be able to scurry away with his life this time. But Impunity punishing potentially greedy Dragon there. You know, the timing just didn't feel quite right. Impunity find a good angle and they take it.
You see a trade in the top lane as well. Driver, he's getting Liv pretty low. He's pretty low himself, though.
Oh, it's really low. You don't often see this from the tank v tank matchups. Misses that third Q, but Liv not going to quite have enough mana to be able to keep chasing that. But he does have the wave shoving in, and Driver no TP. Overall, though, good early lead for Impunity Mission.
Is forced out.
He's playing with fire there, but is able to make his way out alive.
A lot of action across the Rift. Taking a look at the replays, so they managed to pick up the drag, but there's just so much hard engage that can come out from Impunity. Both of the Bliss bot lane burn all their sums, and it's still Lemus that ends up going down, and First Blood importantly picked up by Atlan. While Bliss did manage to secure themselves a dragon, which is very nice, they have to now contend with the fact that Atlan's Kai'Sa, which I feel like, Kai'Sa, one of the most snowballing ADCs out there, is already accelerated ahead.
Yeah, already has the Kraken Slayer completed at 10 minutes into the game. Does get rid of
Doesn't have cleanse.
Taking a lot of damage. Actually, is going to get picked off by Lemus. That is crazy. They just unleash all of their spells onto him, and Atlan getting a little bit too greedy there. And Team Bliss going to pick up a few plates for their troubles.
Yeah, I think really good play there from the side of Bliss's bot lane. Managed to catch Atlan when he does not have the cleanse, and as a result, can actually kind of bring themselves back a little bit in this bot lane, grab a lot of plates for themselves. So just, really showing the strength of that Heimerdinger Varus. Managed to get themselves quite a lot of gold in. I think Lemus now, with the kill and the plate gold, should have that mythic, I would assume. Or be pretty close to it.
Well, Daystar is going to get jumped in on by Mission. Taunt does land, but overall going to be a pretty even trade in the end. But I'm glad to see Bliss, not afraid to back down for those opportunities. Lemus, he sees the angle, takes it, and trusts that his team will follow up. It is good looks for them as the gold lead is evened up now. And with one dragon to their name, it does feel like Team Bliss definitely still very much in it.
I think game pretty much perfectly even at this point, both ADCs with that kill. Feel like scaling is honestly pretty similar. We do see that first item now picked up for both ADCs in the bot side. Still will be looking a lot towards this teamfight execution. I think we said before, Impunity probably have it easier, but Bliss certainly no slouches in teamfights. They are going to grab a plate. Why not's in the area? Doesn't look like he can find anything.
Yeah, no angle there for him, but he is around to make sure this bot lane are able to pick up that wave without too much trouble. It does mean that Why Not is sort of almost like trapped on the bot side of this map now. Alex does have the freedom to move around a little bit more.
Herald's almost expired though. He has to drop it fairly soon. You have to feel like it should be in this bot lane.
Is probably going to be dropping it down. Yeah, there it is. Is going to give the little bit of extra gold over to Atlan as well. Try and accelerate him just a little bit further. Driver, once again, looking in on Lived. Lived uses the Silent Ultimate. Driver is going to try and chase this one down. Doesn't have Ghost available yet, but he's going to land third Q. Not quite. Lived most likely going to make it out here. Might actually keep looking for this trade. Does have the Sunfire completed already, so definitely still is quite strong in these little fights, but both tanks once again going to move back away. BNV might get caught here. Lemus actually going to be the target. Impunity all diving in onto him, and Lemus is going to get dropped down once again. Similar fashion to earlier, and I can't help but feel like this is kind of a microcosm for things to come later on, right? Because if this is happening in the early game, you can't imagine how difficult it's going to be for Lemus to be able to find opportunities to DPS later on.
Definitely agree, I think. Especially when you've got that no flash, right? It becomes so difficult. Liv, he's in a bit of trouble here. Does flash out. The Ghost is here for Driver, though. Why Not's in the area? Can he get here in time?
Why Not should be able to save him here. Driver, though, is still looking for it. Isn't quite going to have enough to chase him down. He's still going for it. This is a bit too greedy from Driver. Daystar's in the area now, too. Driver has no way out. Explosive Car's going to be dropped down. Mission is here to try and provide support, though. And Daystar now going to be the target. Alex is here as well. Picks up the kill onto Daystar. Why Not is the next target, forced to flash over the wall to safety. And what looked like a good skirmish for Team Bliss ultimately turns in the favor of Impunity.
It certainly did. And I think just Driver able to honestly buy so much time there. Xante's so tanky. And in this early game, right, while the Victor gets priority over that mid lane, isn't kind of scaled up to the point where he can kind of win those skirmishes. And importantly against Galio, priority is not the be-all, end-all, because can always just ult to those fights. A lot of damage is traded back onto Alex. It looks like it will just be resets coming through. I mean, we'll take a look at this again. Initially started off, I guess, Liv stayed around a bit too long on low mana. Did get chased down by Driver, who does have the Ghost. I wonder if maybe if Lived, yeah, I guess he couldn't wait any longer. If he'd maybe to flash the wall, but I think couldn't get there in time. Now, Why Not was here, and even with the first move from mid from Daystar, the problem is that Mission can always just ult here, and Daystar just does very little damage, right? Still did not have the Liandries at this point in the game. And yeah, like the fight ends up going on long enough that Alex is able to get here with that flash engage. Just take him out. It's very difficult to be that immobile Victor and Varus into this sort of composition.
Why Not? Caught out.
He doesn't
gonna
flash.
Get knocked up here. Gonna survive this time. There's gonna be Ricano expended for that failed pick from Impunity. Now Daystar looking to see what he can do.
The Ghost has been burned. If Impunity can kite this out, perhaps can look to turn back onto it. Lift is here early, so I think this actually should go the way of Team Bliss. The Dragon is quite low. Will there be a fight afterwards, though?
Nice stun from Benvi to dissuade any kind of look from Nature. He did have the flash available, but no opportunity for him there. Team Bliss should look to evacuate now. Daystar might get looked on by Driver. All out is available. Daystar not quite going to get knocked up by Nature. Is going to get dropped very low in return. But lots of little skirmishes going on here. Why not gets picked off by Alex? He's on a killing spree now. Liam is now going to be the next target. Alan dropping very low. Is going to get picked off 1-for-1. Now Daystar the target. Is going to get found by Driver now. Lived, is he going to be able to find the return kill on here? Probably not. Nature is around to support. Driver's still looking for this. There's no kill pressure there, but
he wants it for sure.
He's a little bit too angry. Overall, Impunity once again finding the edge in these skirmishes.
Impunity, yeah, they come out massive, and I think it's tough for the side of Bliss, right? You kind of want these fights because you've got a bot lane that has priority and should be strong at fighting early. At the same time, though, we've got this Victor who really wants to just sit back and scale and not really be involved too much. I think the more fights a Victor is involved in the early game, the worse it is for him. Initial engage is kind of a slow affair. Daystar does not have the Ghost, but does have the Flash, and he manages to kite out for quite a while. Nature just barely misses, and Lived and Daystar I feel like are doing a good job. Disaster really strikes, though. When on the side, Why Not is just solo killed out by Alex. Didn't have the vision there. And Lemus, credit to him, did manage to trade back 1-for-1, which, I think as a Varus in this situation, pretty damn good result. But it's really kind of showing the weakness, right, of that Varus first pick. It's something that the PCS has gone away from, particularly because of games like this, right? Because if tanks and lifesteal come through, it's so hard to play the poke Varus. And then once you're forced to play the on-hit, if you just have engage, it's so hard for Varus to actually get to deal the damage that he's capable of.
Yeah, it's looking really rough for the side of Team Bliss. It feels like they haven't quite found that bar of execution that they need for these fights. They're still going to get looked on once again. Driver continuing to be aggressive in the side lanes, making sure the play to his limit, but Benvi is in the area now. They might look for this dive. Why not? Getting drop a lot of damage onto Driver. Explosive cast is going to go wide, all out. Pop for Driver, going to try and find his way out now, but Daystar, they might just have enough damage to get the kill here.
Oh
not
my god,
quite.
he gets out. Driver, he knows his limits, and in the meantime, the mid tower does go down. Oh, Alex, he's in the area. Why Not has Flash, although Daystar has no sums.
This 3-0-2 Wukong going to be pretty scary. He's not afraid of this 1v3 situation. He's got Nature available soon, but not quite. Mission drops the ultimate, and now Why Not Daystar both on the run. Daystar still doesn't quite have enough damage available to try and get these kills. Meanwhile, on the left side, Nature getting a bit too cheeky. Oh, Daystar gets picked off. Why Not is next.
Oh, has the ult here for Alan.
Well, Nature. A little bit too excited there, pops the ultimate.
Oh, very close actually on the arrow. I think Impunity probably should just disengage. Maybe Liv can find something. He does not have the ult. Looks like everything will just be kind of reset. So once again, a small win here for the side of Impunity. They get that mid tower. They managed to take down Daystar, who does still not have the sums. Now does have his Leandries completed, but you have to feel like so much has happened in this game that you'd rather just be stronger. Worth noting, though, it is 2 dragons for Team Bliss, so they certainly have time to scale up this Victor if they want to. Right, if you can try and get towards some of those later game team fights.
Yeah, I think most crucially in that skirmish, it did end up being a net positive for Impunity, and that was a 4v5 for them. Team Bliss expending 5 members down to the bot lane. Meanwhile, Driver, he's just driving down the mid lane, farming those minions, making sure to deny as many creeps as possible. Now the gold lead. 4.5k head for the side of Impunity. Mission now looking to bully Daystar as much as possible. Really just trying to make this game as difficult as possible for the Victor trying to scale.
I like it. I think stopping Victor from farming is definitely a big win condition in this game. I think the Varus is a lot easier. Now, Liv, he's extremely tanky. Maybe you have to take out the tower before you think about going for him. The Cyanol is not yet up. It's very soon, though.
Driver pushes the back, actually. Liv forced to flash away. Cyanol not quite available yet, but is going to be good now. Why Not is in the area now, though. Alex and Driver still unrelenting, trying to deal out as much damage as possible. Nature now finds a grand entrance onto Why Not. Doesn't have the ultimate available. Mission finds a taunt as well. Why Not going to get dropped down by Mission. And Impunity keep finding these small picks for themselves.
Slowly but surely are building themselves up a lead here. Lemus, he has no
Lemus. Ricano is now available. Grand Entrance doesn't connect. Not that it matters anyway. Lemus eventually going to get picked off and now Lived. Going to be trying to fight his way out of this one, but All Out hops him back into the side of Impunity. to their waiting arms. And Team Bliss, they're in shambles.
They are now down 6,000 gold. It is the third dragon spawning in 10 seconds. I don't think Bliss can get there in time. I mean, Lemus is still going to be dead. Maybe if Daystar can stop some recalls. Actually, the Galio W. Okay, he stops Atlan. Oh, he's ghosting after him, but I'm not sure.
Travis around. Daystar might actually be able to make something happen here. It does have the Leandry's completed.
Could maybe go for it.
Oh, dropping Atlan very low. That's probably ultimate,
okay,
but
nice.
Daystar going to find that kill as well. Huge heads-up play from him. Now Driver going to be chased down. Why not? Has found his way back into the area. It's going to get picked off. Hopefully the kill goes to Daystar. Shut down. That's a lot of gold for the Victor, you know? He's been having a lot of trouble in this early to mid game. Finally getting some gold to his name.
I wonder if Alex is going to try pick him off, though. The TP is coming through. Daystar has flash. Just gets smited out.
Alex finding the return kill. Dominating in this game so far. Finding so many opportunities on the Wukong. And Impunity, they just keep finding these aggressive plays. And it's pretty much defining their team comp.
Now, Dragon is up and available. Daystar's dead for this. This is the third Dragon, though, and Driver's not alive either. I think Bliss can probably rush this down, but at what cost? I mean, you're in a very rough spot straight afterwards. If Impunity win this fight, they get Baron straight after.
Driver's TP is in. Team Bliss are really desperate for this Dragon. They do manage to pick it up, but at what cost? Atlan now going to be looking to deal out as much damage as possible. Lemus gets dropped down, and BMV is going to get picked up by Driver as well, and it's just a bloodbath for the side of Team Bliss. Livs is trying his best in the corner of the Dragon Pit. But that is 4 kills to 0. Impunity really asserting their dominance once again.
And you felt like you kind of saw it coming a mile away, right? Like really committing to that Dragon there without your Victor means that your only DPS is coming from Varus, who time and time again just gets engaged on by the Impunity hard engage comp. And you do get the third Dragon, but it will be the Baron that now goes the way of Impunity. And you have to feel like that's kind of the nail in the coffin. While you do have that Victor wave clear, not really at the point where he can stand up to any dives. Has a lot of damage for himself, but without any Zhonyas or anything, you know, can just be punished extremely easily. At least both the Bliss carries have flash. I mean, that's the maybe one thing you got going for you.
Yeah, that's the silver lining, I guess. But Driver not only going to pick up that bot lane tower, but the Baron overall picked up for Impunity as well. Gold lead almost at 10k for the side of Impunity as well. It's really not looking good for Bliss. They do have 3 dragons in the name, so potentially can look towards that Dragon Soul as their potential win con. But even then, it's still rough. Daystar trying to get revenge for his woes in the early to mid game, but Mission trading back with a decent amount of damage of his own. Is going to make it out of there alive.
Will get the reset off. Gonna path out. Does not have TP for himself, so it actually does delay Mission being on the map here quite a bit. So nice little, I want to say, delay there from Daystar. Mission, though, Magi Machine has picked it up. 10 stacks. Will he get more? Tier 2 tower was dropped by Driver. Now it's just the Tier 2s on mid and top still remaining. And Mission, he's perhaps looking for a flank from bot side. I think a dive is probably still out of the question while the Bliss carries have flashes up. Maybe if they execute it well. This tower is getting very low.
Hopes are definitely not high for the Bliss squad, unfortunately. It does feel like, you know, the one thing they had going for them in the draft was having the tools to be able to, you know, try and disengage as much as possible from Impunity. But even at this stage of the game, when Impunity is so far ahead, Mission just going to try and find an angle straight away. Allen jumping into the backline. Lemus and Liv deleted straight from the map. Benvi is going to be next. Oh, Liv now getting dropped very low. He's going to use the silent ultimate to try and make it out of there. But now Daystar, the only remaining member of Team Bliss, and this might potentially be the end for Impunity. 24 minutes into the game. Driver not quite going to find Daystar in that one.
I think they can do it. It is really just Daystar against the world. He has both his sums and I mean, actually could probably hold on. Yeah, I think he can. There is just still enough wave clear for him able to defend this. But that is the mid inhib picked up. And now more than a 10,000 gold lead for the side of Impunity. And perhaps most importantly, the Magi's goes up to 18 stacks.
That is really scary. You don't often see that on the Galio, but Mission is really making it work. You know, he's a little bit behind in CS, but he's making up for it with engages like these.
The engage is just so strong, and even with both sums, Lemus is taken out in rather short order. Really not a whole lot he could have done there other than just not be on the same screen as Rakan. It's just taken out nice and early, and Liv, you know, he's tanky, but it's just deleted in no time at all.
Yeah, is he tanky really? It feels like he just melted like paper there. Impunity, they're just so far ahead, you know, Alan, pretty much all the members of Impunity really, they just have enough damage to be able to shred him so quickly, and it means that Team Bliss, they don't have that durable frontline that they were expecting to have.
Driver, chase down to the side. He still has Ghost. I honestly could probably 1v2 this if he feels the need.
Yeah, Liv's gonna get looked on now. Silent Ult is available once again. Driver, though, he's not backing down from the fight. Looks on Daystar now. Isn't gonna quite pop the Ult out yet. Oh, doesn't have it up, actually. But meanwhile, Impunity looking to see what they can do in the base. Driver is still looking for this 2v1. He's having a little bit of fun. Now Alex here to provide support. Noticing that his top laner isn't doing too well. Now Daystar getting dropped very low as Driver's all out has been popped. It's devolved into 2 1v1s. Driver gonna drop down Daystar with relative ease. Alan, though, getting dropped down very low, does get picked up by Lemus, and now a 2v2. There's so many fights going on. Team Bliss versus Impunity down in the bot lane. BMV fighting for his life. Mission trying to hunt him down and fish out more stacks for himself. But ultimately, Team Bliss, they are going to have their base alive for now. But wait, Mission's here to join the fight. It's a crossover. BMV, shock team of face, is going to make his way out of there. Oh no, but Impunity, they might just have the game here. 26 minutes, 24 kills. Alex, he's not going to let BMV survive this one. It's an ace, and it is going to be game 1 going over to Impunity, and I have to say, not a good look so far for the LCO team.
No, it was pretty destructive. 25 kills to 5. And I think I really questioned the Varus first pick. I guess we'll get a bit more into it because I feel like the Varus first pick is kind of a bait. It's really looked at in the PCS. The problem just becomes it just enables such an easy engage comp, and it was punished very well by Impunity. And we get Drive. We always get some dances in the post game from him, basically played. So
it's like Drive versus Why Not? Why Not? He's pulled out a lot of these himself, but I have to say...
Oh, he was about to take Alex through the wall. He can't do that, but anyway. Yeah, so looks like pretty one-sided. Now, I do want to say I don't think that's entirely unexpected because Bliss have looked so much better on red side. They were forced to play blue. And a big reason for that is because on that red side, you can get Daystar with a lot more early pressure, right? Felt like this game, you take the Victor, but the problem is that gives kind of mission run of the map, wisely saved that red side last pick, and you kind of saw that despite Bliss having a lot of pressure from that bot lane, without strength from Daystar mid, they still tried to play as if they did, right? Despite the